Hello and welcome. We are back for another MLB DFS slate. Today is Wednesday, April 12th. Yesterday's slate went pretty well for us. We mentioned Pablo Lopez, and he went on to have 10 strikeouts. So that's always nice. Our stacks also worked out. St. Louis did get there, but, Colorado, the Cubs, and Mariners all got there. Now, let's just jump right in for, first of all, LineStar, $29.99, best deal in DFS and prop betting. We have props, we got DFS projections, we got it all. And now we will jump into the slate. As always, straight to ownership, and we'll go to the pitcher's ownership. To no surprise, we have very top-heavy ownership for pitching today. Spencer Strider coming in at almost 43%. Gausman coming at 41%. If you watch the prop show, you know I like Gausman. I am taking his over 7Ks line already. And then we have Kershaw coming in at 36%. All three of these pitchers, super good. I do have to say, though, I like Strider and Gausman light years ahead of Kershaw. I think Kershaw at 36% owned is probably a little too high. He hasn't been great versus the 49ers versus the Giants lately. If you see, he had one game of 23 last year, but all the others in low and double digits. And if you go to years prior, it's kind of more of the same. So for whatever reason, the Giants do hit Kershaw well, maybe just because they see him a lot because it's interdivision here. But I think you got to side with Strider or Gausman on this. Now looking a little more into Strider, Reds strike out a lot, 27.9% K rate versus righties, essentially 28%. And Gausman or Strider just has great strikeout stuff, 38.8% K rate over his last 20 starts. You gotta really like that. So I'm all in on Strider. I think he's also priced just too cheap. He's not a 9,300 pitcher. He should be well into the 10Ks. This is a guy that legitimately had Cy Young chance in a limited season last year. So I like Strider. That Reds offense does not scare me, and I will be eating the chalk with him. Gausman's more of the same. This Detroit lineup, it just is not that good. 27.7% K rate versus righties. And Gausman doesn't have the K rate that Strider does. He's like 10% less. But he is super efficient. He works deep into games. If you're on FanDuel, it's very likely he's going to get you that quality start because he's going 6-7 innings in pretty much every game. Both games this year, he's gone at least 6 and only 90 pitches, going 6 and 86 pitches. So I like Gausman a lot. You're probably getting that quality start and probably a win today for the Blue Jays. Now Hunter Green is coming in at the fourth highest owned guy. Hunter Green is a tricky one. I do like him today. I think he's just too cheap at 6,900, coming in at 25% owned. He is a guy with huge upside. He has real good K rate at 31.8% over his last 20 starts at 6,900. That's just insane. The issue with him is he can get tagged. He can get hit pretty hard. 47% fly balls, 38% hard contact. And when you're going up against a lineup like the Braves, those hard contact and fly ball numbers are likely going to hurt you. And they probably will today. However, 6,900 with that K upside, I totally understand if you want to go there. I will have a little bit of him. The combined K rate for Green and the Braves is 29%. So again, at that price point, you just don't get those type of numbers often. So ownership is there as they should be. If you want another pivot, you could go Evaldi. It's versus Kansas City. They're not that great of an offense. He's been decent this year. I just don't know if he's going to be able to produce a huge game. Combined K rate's only 20% in this one. as Casey does a good job of not striking out. And if you want to get real weird, you got Dean Kremer here. I think there is a little upside versus Oakland, who we know isn't a good offense. They also strike out a lot, 24.8% versus righties. Kremer has a little strikeout upside for his price, 17% K rate, which isn't good, but for 5,500, it's not terrible. 20% combined K rate. So combined K rate very similar to Eovaldi, due to the fact that he's playing Oakland, who strikes out a lot, just a lot cheaper than Eovaldi there. So I don't love it. If you're going to go that low, you can. It is a nice pivot option. I'm probably going to stick to three or a couple of the higher owned pitchers here on this slate. Pretty hard to get different. Now let's check the FanDuel ownerships for pitching. Obviously Strider, far and away the highest owned guy. Then Gausman, 28.4% for Gausman, and Kershaw, 23.3%. Again, I would probably say Kershaw is a little over owned here. And then if you really want to get crazy, I think you could go down to Hunter Green. Atlanta, we do know, can strike out a lot. So if Green is on, he could produce for you. And at 8K, he definitely has the upside to make it happen for you. Now let's jump in to good old stacks. Let's view some hitting here. And the highest owned stack for the day is Baltimore Orioles, as they should be. We got wind blowing out. It's almost 80 degrees. It's really good hitting weather. And they're going against a pitcher that's not very good. He's given up, I think it's 7 home runs and 8 innings on the season. His FIP is 6.2, giving up 2.52 fantasy points per plate attempt. So Baltimore's in a really good spot. Now, they are high owned, but I think you can get a little different using them. So if we go to the ceiling tool, you can see there's 98% product owned here, which with still a ton of ceiling, I think that is how I'd probably be attacking this slate if I want to use Baltimore. Don't just stick to, say, the 1 through 4 hitters, which are all likely to be higher owned. Use some of the back end guys that have some speed and power, just may strike out a little bit more. And I think that's a way you can still play them and get a little bit different. And as you can see, 87% here. So there's absolutely some combinations with using Orioles you can use to get a little different. Other stacks, let's check out the projected. We got Toronto coming in here. Look, they're very low owned. They're in a really good spot too. Eduardo Rodriguez, he can get blown up. He can give up a lot of home runs. 4.66 FIP, 1.69 fantasy point per plate attempt. But if you go over to look at the data for the Blue Jays here, 1.98 fantasy point per plate attempt, 2.8 barrel balls, real good barrel balls number here. So I do really like the Blue Jays as well. And then one that isn't probably going to show up here that I do like is the Braves. I know I talked about Hunter Green in a good light, but I've also talked about him as he can get blown up. He can give up some home runs. And that's really what we want in DFS is some home runs, extra base hits and whatnot. So I do like that. The Braves also, I think you could go to Texas if you want. And let's check out the value now. Oakland Athletics. We talked about Kremer a little bit, 5.5K for him, but he can get blown up. He hasn't been great all season. 4.4 FIP, giving up a lot of fantasy points per plate attempt. I think you could do a Oakland, say, 3-man stack or something like that. Get a bit different. Oakland has a lot of guys with speed that can score in multiple different ways. So that's another way to get different on the slate. The slate with only 6 games and all the pitchers, the high-owned pitchers looking good, the high-owned stacks looking good. You're going to have to figure out some way to get a little bit different. Definitely think Oakland is one of them. Boston is another one that's not too bad here. It is versus the Rays, though, as we've seen. Rays pitching has been on fire. The Rays have been on fire. I also think you can stack the Rays tonight. So that will do it today. A short one. Quick recap. Pitcher-wise, we like Strider, Gausman. Kershaw's okay, but of those 3, he's the one I'm fading. And then I think you can go Green as he's just too cheap. And then stack-wise, we like all the best ones. We like Baltimore. We like Blue Jays. I think you can go Tampa Bay. You can go Braves. And then Oakland is the value stack of the day. Have a good one, guys. Be back tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye.